Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Grade A Fantasy with some preseason news. Following up, going into the DFS season starting in basically under 2 weeks for 2024 FanDuel. And today's video is basically on, well, one, the news on that wide receiver that you see right there. Zay Jones is now broke within the last 48 hours, suspended for the first 5 games. So he's basically missing a quarter of the season. So already I have not started my position preview, but as you all know, if you have been taking a look at and have taken a chance to look at the slate, there's a lot of value at wide receiver. And some value just opened up in one of the top 3 games with the highest total, with the Bills and hosting Arizona. So with Zay Jones out the way, who was most likely going to make the team, but with Zay out the way, the value really opens up with either one of these two guys here, Greg Dortch, Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson, last year's rookie, had an okay season, had some connections. He's more of a big play deep threat, but he did amazingly play some snaps into the slot. Now, obviously a highly rated rookie. Last year, Hollywood Brown was there. There was a few injuries there, so Mike Wilson did step up. They had Greg Dortch. Also, he was mainly in the slot. They had Rondell Moore there last year, and they had other guys picking up slack in the wide receiver spot. But obviously, the big story was the fact that Trey McBride literally took over the tight end job after Zach Ertz got hurt last year. So, and then of course you still got an outstanding receiving running back in James Conner. Tough runner, but very underrated pass catcher as well. So with these two here, you're looking at a great value. Neither wide receiver is over 5,000. They're in the mid fours, as you can see there, 46 and 4,500. So you could pick either or. Michael Wilson, definitely you're looking for more of the big play threat. 38 receptions on 58 targets for 565 and 3 touchdowns last year in his rookie campaign. 80, like I said, he was drafted highly last year, so 80% snap share. 24.7 of those were in the slot. And also, like I said, he's more of the big play threat. He's definitely more the big play threat for this team. Last year had 716 air yards. Obviously, with Marvin Harrison Jr., he'll be looked more upon to be the big play wide receiver. But they could also send Michael Wilson deep because Greg Dortch is their primary slot receiver. Didn't do much in 2021 in his rookie campaign, and then with injuries, had the opportunity to kind of make a name for himself. I picked him a few times. He was probably a late picker for some people in fantasy leagues. In 2022, 52 receptions on 64 targets for 467 yards. 24 receptions on 41 targets for 280 last year. Didn't get much opportunity. He didn't even get on the stat sheet in the first, I think, 7 to 8 games last year. Had 2 TDs. 37.8 snap share. Like I said, he didn't play that much last year, but out of that 37.8 snap share, 30% of it was in the slot. So Greg Dortch is their main slot guy, only 319 air yards. So with these two here, Michael Wilson definitely last year had a couple, he was kind of consistent. Like I said, it was both on and off of him, but like I said, Michael Wilson definitely has the better stats because he definitely had more of a chance. This was him pretty much at 12.5, 13.5, a couple of zeros. Like I said, this also factors in Kyler Murray didn't play the entire year last year. Remember, he had the ACL, then came back in the middle of the year. He had one breakout game early, 7 for 76 and 2 TDs, so he had a 23.1. But other than that, a pretty much mediocre year, but did finish the year strong with a TD and over 140 yards and 10 catches. So with a 12.5 and a 13.5. With that, Greg Dortch, like I said, with the addition to Wilson, then you had Rondell Moore. Like I said, you even had Hollywood snatched up with injuries a little bit, but like I said, Greg Dortch is mainly a slot guy, and then once again, maybe work at the opposite slot. Sometimes he'll be on the slot on the side of Trey McBride. So the opportunity was there. Like I said, as you can see in the beginning, he did not play much, and then when the injuries piled up, he benefited playing. By the time he came back, Kyler Murray had just got back, so you can see here he gets the targets. I mean, 4, 7, 5, 3, 3, 9, 8. And like I said, double digits here, 10, 10. He's normally somebody. I remember the year back in 2022, there was one time he got close to being priced at 6,000, and that's it. So Greg Dortch, you're just looking at 4,500. If he's 4,600 and he 2.5 X's, he's scoring like an 11 point, 12 point something. So he's definitely worth both wide receivers. Definitely worth in cash games. Will help you pay up for other wide receivers, other running backs. As you can see here, as the year came to end, he had a nice little finish, 11.5, 11.7, and then just had that 2.4 right there. But in the slot, he does have the better repertoire. He's been playing with Kyler Murray longer. If you ask me, I slightly favor Dortch over, it's not really a price thing. These guys are literally $100 apart. But for the first 5 weeks, unless one of these guys blows up, I mean, even if they do blow up, what's the most? What's the most that FanDuel's going to push them up by next week? $700, $800? So they'll be, $5,400. So they'll still be a bargain, or basically a free square. But these are definitely, I would say, tournament plays. Could they rank in the cash game? Yes, I would think so. Because if you're expecting one of the biggest spreads, I think Buffalo's -9 at the moment, then guess what? You expect Kyler Murray to be throwing this ball at the end of games. So whatever stats they could get between quarters 1, 2, and 3, or if the Buffalo Bills do blow them out and cover the spread, and if they cover the spread, maybe they're in full pass mode by mid-third, or at least late third, instead of just the fourth quarter alone. So, like I said, it doesn't take much to pay off 4,600. If you round these up to 5,000, 2 extra value is 10 fantasy points. So times 2 here. And these guys are both capable. Like I said, Michael Wilson's more the deep threat, gets the air yards. He can catch a couple deep passes. He can get a garbage time touchdown. So from Greg Dortch, he could have one of those games where he had 8 targets and 6 receptions for 72 yards. Don't score, but have one of those games that he had last year, having an 11.2. He's probably not somebody that you needed, trying to win the milli or 25 max. But for cash games, these guys are definitely worth the consideration. Fantasy wise, 10-team leagues, no, there's still a lot of talent ahead of them in a 10-team league. These are definitely people you're looking for in 12 and 14 team leagues for sure. If they still weren't drafted in a 12-14 team, these guys are definitely worth the bench stash, at least for the first 5 weeks, without a doubt, either or. But if you ask me, my own opinion, FanDuel's 0.5. DraftKings is definitely Dortch because of the slot receptions, and like I said, he has more familiarity. Michael Wilson, had basically half a season. He basically had half a season with Kyler Murray. Greg Dortch basically has almost 3 years with Kyler Murray, pretty much. I mean, he didn't play much in 2021 as a Arizona rookie, but he's been there longer. Michael Wilson just coming off his rookie campaign, so the familiarity and the trust. I like Greg Dortch, especially more on DraftKings with the full point PPR, but the half point PPR, as you can see here, Michael Wilson being with the rookie and the stats that I showed you is definitely more boom and bust for him. As we see again, if you look at the game log, it's definitely more boom and bust. 12.5, 13.5, very solid. And then after that, bunch of zeros, 4.9, zeros, 7.8, and then boom, there goes a 23 and a 9.6, and then there you go. With Greg Dortch, you get a little bit more consistency. Yeah, he ended up with the 2.4, but 11.7, 11.7, 3, 2.4, 10.2, 10.6. And he didn't play that much last season, but playing in the slot gives him more consistent opportunity. While Michael Wilson, yes, he did impress Arizona. They're looking for him to grow, but getting Marvin Harrison Jr., he should overtake him playing on the left side, while Michael Wilson probably plays on the right. I'm pretty sure Kyler Murray will be looking for, if I was Kyler Murray and the way the Arizona offense has been the last 3 years, you're looking to get the rookie going probably first. If not, he's second or 1B to the Trey McBride 1A. You go, and then like I said, then I think Dortch is like the third option, while Michael Wilson shares that like a third 3A, 3B, and then if anything all else fails, Murray runs or sometimes dumps it off to James Conner. So for consistency, fantasy, we all know fantasy is about opportunity. I'm going to favor Greg Dortch on both sides. Pricing is not really anything. They're literally $100 from each other. But like I said, it'll be interesting to see what develops here. As you can see, all those three guys are together. Zay Jones is the same as Greg Dortch. So, like I said, Zay Jones won't be playing until what, second week of October. So, like I said, these guys will literally have to blow up to by the time they get to 5 weeks to even sniff 6,000 or 6,300. So I'll be taking chances on them, cash games, double ups. They'll be getting the opportunity. Plus, like I said, with that kind of low salary, these guys, without a doubt, help you. I mean, geez, they're cheaper than what, 4 defenses basically. So these guys definitely help you pay up for the higher price running backs that you want, quarterback, tight end, whatever it is. But I consider them one of those, you know, how it goes. People get hurt preseason, the suspensions, contract disputes. So pick one of these guys that have a high upside. This game, if I'm not mistaken, is the third highest game total, if I'm not mistaken. Because the main games when it comes to game total, it's Arizona Buffalo. FanDuel did add the 8 o'clock game. DraftKings didn't, so that's the highest game because that has a 51.5. The Rams at the Lions, and then after that at 49. Last I saw on FanDuel, 49.5. This one's at 48.5. I wasn't mistaken. It could have changed. It could have got to 50.5, but the last I saw, Jacksonville at Miami was at 49.5. Those are the top 3 games. Actually, looking at my notes, yeah, I got that. Okay, I was slightly off. Wait, no, I was right. Jags at Dolphins, 49.5. Arizona at the Bills, 48.5. Last I checked, anyway, and 51.5. Rams at Lions. So, like I said, and with the Bills given 9 points, these guys are viable DFS wise for garbage time touchdowns without a doubt. If you're down 9 or more, and you think the Bills are going to cover this spread, then guess what? Greg Dortch and Michael Wilson will be looking at some garbage time, along with Harrison and McBride. There's 4 options there, but with the possibility of playing into that game script, if they're going to be passing the ball a lot, that means more opportunities just for Dortch and Michael Wilson to get many more opportunities and chances at receptions. 0.5 on FanDuel, full point on DraftKings. So that's just a little report there. 2 what I think could be 2 free squares. Great opportunity. Like I said, they're in a great game. It's a great game opportunity. Even though if Arizona is getting blown out, it still follows the game script for the wide receivers to take advantage of that late third and into the entire fourth quarter. So Zay Jones out for 5 weeks. Let's see how Greg Dortch and Michael Wilson takes advantage of this opportunity with snap count. Coming up soon will be the quarterback preview for the FanDuel slate. And as time goes on, the running backs preview will be followed by a wide receiver preview and finish off with the tight end and defensive special teams. I was trying to hold out for as much as I can for like preseason news, people getting cut, contract disputes, and so on and so forth. But as long as there's news to report, I will keep reporting these news, and then these news and updates that have, significant fantasy impact. And then we will go with the position by position slate review. We are literally less than 2 weeks away from that full slate opening. Just remember, whether if you're coming from any other webpage that, prefers DraftKings, just remember this key. DraftKings did not include the night game. FanDuel did. So just incorporate that. I'll be sure to remind that, and it will play into some strategy, especially on FanDuel, as I go over this slate. But that's it for this. That's it for the update on the Arizona wide receiver core. This is Grade A Fantasy. Thank you for joining. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I'm signing off.